Villains are destined to die. Chapter 9. Emily, who was trembling so hard, looked as if she'd collapse any minute. However, she started to go through her hair, which was tied up. Soon, a giant needle was seen in her hand, which came out of her hair. Oh ho, nicely hidden now, was it? Of course, Penelope was always the victim. They were this intense. She would have wanted to scream at the maid who'd always abuse her, but couldn't due to her having no evidence. Here. Emily handed me the needle with her trembling hands. I stared down at the object that had continuously hurt Penelope up until now. It was a mere metal piece that wasn't even that big. However, yesterday I realized how painful this thin and little needle could provide a person. How painful would it have been for her? No one would have noticed, even though your arms go weak with bloody scar marks due to the pain you'd feel every morning when you wake up. Raise your head. I clenched my teeth and commanded. Emily hesitantly raised her head. Despair could be seen in her wavering eyes, as she was probably thinking about things she would experience now from the violent Gongyu. Watch this closely, Emily. I reached my hand without the needle out in front of Emily. It was one fragile-looking milky white hand without a scar. It was flipped so the back of the hand was facing the ceiling. Then I planted the needle on it with the needle Emily handed me without hesitation. Ack! Lady! It was me who was poked deep with the needle, but it was Emily who screamed as if she was the one who got poked instead. Then I plucked out the needle that was planted halfway in my hand. Ugh! Blood drops started to form on the piercing. I've prepared myself for this, but it really hurt. It was to the point I would get teary-eyed. But I didn't show it on the face as I smashed the needle back into my hand, close to where I poked myself a moment ago. Ah! This time, I couldn't endure the pain as I let out a sound. Lady! Emily breathed hard as if she was having a panic attack. Emily, not knowing what to do, let out tears at my reckless actions. It was a scene quite funny to watch. What's she so scared about when she did things far worse than this before? Lady, hick! Lady, why are you doing this? No need to cry like that, Emily. Since this is the scars you made on me. I replied in a gentle tone. Then her face expression went blank. Huh? It may be 2 at this moment, but it could always become 3, 4, and 5. Maybe even more. Emily stopped breathing at my words. Her trembling stopped as well. I'm going to accept whatever you'll do to me without having a single doubt on you from now on. The bathe water you'll be preparing, clothes, food. Everything. Lady. The more you do, more the scars that'll appear on this hand. It'll be totally visible someday. If then, wouldn't a day come when someone notices it? There would be people wondering who could be the abuser who doesn't know their place to ignore the member of the Eckart family. To give an example, just like Brother Reynold. I verbally attacked Emily while smiling like a blooming flower. I'm only saying that all these depends on your attitude. My personal maid didn't give an answer to my threatening words. Her face was so pale to the point even I thought she was choked by someone just now. Get up now. You must do your job now that your master has finished her food. I took back the arm that I reached for her. I then turned my gaze to the big window by the table. Emily stood up from the spot abruptly after a while more of kneeling down. Then she started cleaning the table with the robotic speed and skills. She's fast to learn, it seems. It was fortunate. I think I could easily use her now and in the future. The way people will look at me would have been the same even if I did get a new person to be my personal maid. I couldn't stay still doing nothing forever, so I decided to make allies who I could use. My personal maid who laid abuse on Penelope. And at the right timing, a chance was given to me. I also liked Emily's personality of straight on doing what she's told to do without any question. I was watching Emily with such thought until she finished organizing the table fast. It was then. Thud dash. The door opened all of a sudden with so much force that I wondered how the door didn't break from that. I turned my gaze in surprise. The hair with the lovely shade of pink fluttered in the air. Reynold Eckart was glaring at me with a frown on his face. You. He hurried in the room. The bar that showed was so close to me. Just what are you planning on doing? Reynold, who was approaching me with, creating a dark aura, frowned even more and gave a deathly aura when he witnessed Emily standing by the table. You. Why, young master? Emily froze in spot, her face pale. I hurried looked at the table. Every dishes were on a tray and only a fork was still set in front of me. Hiya! I had a terrible feeling about the situation, so I grabbed the fork and set it on the tray. I looked around me if there were anything that could be used as a weapon, and spoke after I confirmed that there weren't anything that dangerous. You should leave now, Emily. She abruptly raised the tray from the table as if she waited for me to say this. However, Reynolds shouted when she did so. Don't you dare leave. Hurry. I said, looking at Emily as if telling her to leave before the aggressive young master starts to fuss around. Emily seemed to have understood the meaning of my words, because she hurriedly left the room. She looked like me yesterday, running away crazily from Derek to survive. Emily finally left when Reynolds' displeased gaze fixed on me. Answer. What are you planning that you do this? I thought of what to say for a moment. Penelope always talked informally to Reynolds in the game. Reynolds was 2 years older than Penelope. It was understandable if they fought like a cat fighting a dog, since the two didn't have a major age gap. Just like how the second bastard in the house and I are like. To be accurate, he abused me and I was always the one getting beaten. I considered talking formally to Reynolds like I speak to Derek due to him being older than me, but that thought came to an end. It would funny if a person who spoke to him informally just yesterday speaks formally to him now. Did you decide to straight on ignore my words? Reynolds asked displeasingly when I didn't reply. Look at that, how impatient. I replied him like how Penelope would. What is this that I did? Why are you saying that you're going to use that bitch as your personal maid again? Sparkled dangerously above the fluttering pink, pretty hair. What should I answer with to avoid the death flag? I thought on switching the choices on, but decided not to. No. Even if I do, there would only be useless lines. I gulped, staring at Reynolds huffing in fury. If it was Penelope, she would definitely say either not your business, or get out of my room, which would bring her closer to her death. That's nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about that. However, I wasn't Penelope, so I slightly sugar-coated those words. Renlad wouldn't take in anything I say, nicely anyway. I sugar-coated those words though, so I thought it was going to be enough to deal with the situation. What? However, it seemed to have done the opposite effect of what was expected, because the emotion in Reynolds' gaze turned from dark to deathly. Feeding her master rotten food is nothing to worry about to you? No, that's. There are boundaries of annihilating an Eckart. How dare she, a mere lowly one not knowing her place? We don't need that kind of maid in the mansion. There are countless others who are begging to work here until they die, even without being paid. Reynolds shouted. I, who was going to conclude all this by saying this is nothing to make a fuss about, became speechless at his unexpected reaction. Looking at him being angrier than I, the victim, was, made me laugh. How dare you, a mere lowly one not knowing your place. It was always the line Reynolds would say to Penelope. Do you laugh in this situation? He said, frowning when I smirked for a brief moment. Just how lowly were you being seen by others that you were going through these insults? Yeah, that's right. Just like you asked, how did people see the Duke's daughter so lowly that none of the workers here would right away listen to a single word I say? I calmed myself down, knowing if I said that, I would be dead. I met Father because of the incident yesterday. I looked at him with a stage colder eyes. Yes. Father probably agreed. Since I told him we had to fire that bitch immediately. Reynolds confidently added with a puffed chest as if he was proud of his actions. Did he want a compliment or something from his fake younger sister who he hated up until now? Unfortunate for him, I didn't plan on doing so. Father and the older brother desired not to fire Emily. What? Reynolds' blue eyes widened when I continued with a calm tone. Father and brother did? Subscribe, like and share for more chapters and novels every day.